All right, so let's go ahead and rock and roll on this subject. It's very data based, so make sure you guys have your data caps on. But we're going to be talking about a specific ratio that is very important when it comes to scaling ads and really scaling your business in general. All right, and that's LTGP, which stands for lifetime gross profit, to CAC, which stands of cost of acquiring a client ratio. All right, so comparing your lifetime gross profit from your clients with how much it costs to actually acquire those individuals as a ratio. All right, so what are we going to talk about? Let's define these terms. So CAC, once again, is cost of acquiring a client. All right, so how much does it cost you as a business to acquire a paying client? So paying client, this is not acquiring like a lead or acquiring a call booking. This is acquiring somebody that has officially signed a contract and paid you money. All right, so that's CAC. Now, LTGP, once again, is lifetime gross profit. So all the money a customer spends with you on average, and all the money it takes to deliver your service, or minus all the money that it takes to deliver your service. All right, so that's how we find LTGP, is all the money a customer spends with you on average within their life cycle, so lifetime value, which we'll define today, subtracted by all the money it takes to deliver your service, which is labor cost. All right, so that's how we find lifetime gross profit. Now, the goal here is to have a 3-to-1 ratio, bare minimum. Okay, so the real goal is actually to be above 3-to-1, but if you're at a 3-to-1 ratio of lifetime gross profit to cost of acquisition, that just means your business is like good, healthy, right? Average, right? But we want to be above that. All right, so real simple, like what's the big why? What's the big driver? Why should you guys really give a shit here? If you make at least 3x return in lifetime gross profit to how much it costs to acquire a customer, then you're going to forever be profitable, right? At the end of the day, that's why we're in business, right? We're in business to be profitable so that we can, yes, fulfill our mission, but also so that we can live the lifestyle that we want for our families, for ourselves, whatever our personal needs are. All right, so if profitability is a concern for you, which I do know that some individuals in the program and in the industry at large, this has been a concern as of late, then this is going to be something that you guys want to pay attention to. Of course, we're getting some people to roll in here. I think I'm not too deep into this where I can get restarted. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll catch you guys up to speed really quickly. But if anybody else comes in late, I'm not doing this. All right. So what we're talking about today is lifetime gross profit to cost of acquisition ratio. Okay, so if you are somebody who is concerned about your business profitability, this is something that you guys should pay attention to. All right, so let's go ahead and define those terms. What is LTGP and what is CAC? All right, LTGP is lifetime gross profit. All right, so really simple. How you find that is all of the money a customer spends with you on average, subtracted by all the money it takes to deliver your service. All right, and we're going to go through that equation a little bit deeper here in a second. All right, CAC, cost of acquisition, all right, is how much it costs you and your marketing spend in order to actually acquire a paying client. All right, the goal, what we're after here is bare minimum 3-to-1 LTGP to cost of acquisition ratio. All right, so 3-to-1 is bare minimum. Your business is good, your business is healthy. We want to be above that. All right, once again, what's the reason why? If you're concerned about profitability, if you want to be profitable, you should have a bare minimum 3-to-1 ratio here. Okay, well, let's get into the how. Let's get into the equation. All right, so the first term that we need to figure out here is cost of acquisition. So how the heck do we find our CAC or our cost of acquisition? All right, so this will really apply for you if you are running ads. All right, so if you're on the call and you're not running ads yet, still pay attention and take notes, because the goal of you being a master coach is eventually you are going to run ads and you're going to want to have these equations. All right, so how we find cost of acquisition is we take how much we're spending in marketing dollars. All right, this does not include labor. So it does not include what you're paying Ronnie or what you're paying any other media buyer. This is simply an ad spend, right? So how much money are you giving Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google, wherever you're spending your ads? All right, so marketing costs. All right, then you're going to divide that by the number of clients that you have. All right, or sorry, the number of clients that you sold, not the number of clients that you have. All right, this has to be within the given time frame that you're equally getting the marketing cost from, right? So if you're getting your marketing costs from the month of September, then you can only divide that by the number of clients that you sold in September. All right, same thing. If you're doing this for quarter three, it's how much you spent in marketing costs in quarter three divided by how many new clients you sold in quarter three. So the time duration has to match up here. Now for marketing costs, I'm going to just take this a layer deeper. If you do a referral kickback, meaning anytime a client refers you business and that individual signs on and you pay your client a referral fee or a referral kickback, that would also be included in your marketing costs. All right, so ad spend plus referral kickback is going to be your marketing costs. All right, pretty simple, right? Any questions on how to find cost of acquisition? Good, sweet. All right, giving you some industry average here. Your cost of acquisition should be between $300 to $1,000. All right, so that's industry standard as an online fitness coaching business. Ideally, 300 to 500, but up to 1,000. Anything above 1,000, you should probably be sounding the alarms and really be looking into your marketing. And we'll talk about all that later on as well. All right, the one that takes a little bit more digging to figure out. Unfortunately, lifetime gross profit isn't as easy to figure out as cost of acquisition. All right, so to figure out lifetime gross profit, here's what we need to do. All right, so we're going to take revenue for the trailing 3 months. All right, so you're going to take your revenue for the trailing 3 months. All right, and you're going to divide that by your total active clients by the end of the 3rd month. All right, so I'm going to provide a little bit more clarity there. All right, so let's say that we're doing this for quarter three. Quarter three just ended as of September 30th. All right, so what I would do is I would add up July, August, and September, and that would be my trailing 3 months of revenue. Okay, then I'm going to divide that number by the total active clients that I had by the end of the 3rd month. So in this example, I would look at September 30th and I would see how many active clients do I have on our roster, and that's the number that I'm dividing it by. All right, so what does that get us? All right, so what that gets us is the average pay per client per month. All right, so now you have a figure that represents how much are our clients paying us monthly on average. Okay, now that number is important because we need it in this second part of the equation. All right, so the second part of the equation is you take that figure, all right, the average pay per client per month, and you divide that by the average churn over the equal 3 months. All right, so whatever your churn was for, in this example, quarter three, that's the number that you would plug in. All right, so the average pay per client per month divided by the trailing 3 months average churn, and that's going to get you what's called lifetime value. All right, so lifetime value is how much you're making per client on average over the course of their term in your program. All right, so that's lifetime value. We still haven't found lifetime gross profit yet. We need to define lifetime value in order to find lifetime gross profit. But now let's go ahead and take it a step further. Okay, so you're going to take your lifetime value figure and you're going to subtract that by your average labor cost. All right, so your average labor cost is how much you pay a DMer on average, how much you pay a closer on average, and how much you pay a coach on average per client. All right, so your average DMer commission per client, your average closer commission per client, and then what the coach gets on that average term, right? So if your lifetime gross profit is your 6-month package, right, how much does your coach get paid for the total of the 6 months is what you would plug in there. All right, so you add up all those, DMer commission, closer commission, what the coach gets paid over that time. Now you have your average labor cost. All right, take your lifetime value, subtract it by the labor cost, and voila, we have our lifetime gross profit. Okay, so now we can actually look at the ratio. All right, so like I said, it should be 3 to 1. So if you take your lifetime gross profit and you divide it by your cost of acquisition, right, you should see a number that is bare minimum 3, right? So let's just, do some figures here. All right, so real simple. Let's say that our lifetime gross profit was $3,000. And let's say our average cost of acquisition was $1,000. That means I have a 3-to-1 ratio of lifetime gross profit to cost of acquisition. Yay, your business is healthy. Anything below that, I'm going to go over what you need to look into. But once again, 3-to-1 is just the bare minimum of what we're trying to achieve here. We want to be above 3-to-1. Okay, so let's look into these next steps. Okay, so there's really two things that you could do to improve. You can either reduce your cost of acquisition, which we'll talk about how you can do that, or you can increase your lifetime gross profit, which we will also talk about how you can do that as well. Okay, so let's dig a little bit deeper. So like I said, we can either make your cost of acquisition lower by getting cheaper leads with more effective marketing. Now, you can X this one off completely if your cost of acquisition falls within the industry average. All right, so when we did the cost of acquisition equation right here, your marketing cost divided by your total number of clients sold, if that fell within $300 to $1,000, then cost of acquisition is not your problem. All right. If your ratio is below 3-to-1, cost of acquisition was not your problem. So we can X that one off completely if you fall within this industry average here. All right. The second thing that we could do is we can make lifetime gross profit higher by increasing how much you make per customer. All right. Most businesses are going to land here considering that their CAC is within industry standard. I'm assuming that most of y'all have a cost of acquisition that's within industry standard. Okay, the third one here is the third option that you have is you can make your lifetime gross profit higher by decreasing your labor costs. All right, so if you're not at least 3-to-1 ratio, those are the three things that you could do. We can make our cost of acquisition lower by getting cheaper leads with more effective marketing. If you're not within industry average standard, we can make our lifetime gross profit higher by increasing how much we make per customer. Or the third option is we can decrease our labor cost, which in return would increase our lifetime gross profit. Now, this last one here, like you guys can see on the doc, I don't usually recommend this one unless you're absolutely overpaying your team for no reason. The reason I don't recommend this one is because if you are paying them industry standard and now we're going to go ahead and just reduce how much they're getting paid, you're going to have talent that is good that leaves, and it's going to be very hard for you to retain talent that can actually scale your company. But I do know that there's a lot of individuals that for whatever reason are massively overpaying their team because they lean too heavily into the employee side of the decision-making calculus. And if that's the case, then yes, we should 100% pull back on how much you're paying your team. All right, so those are our three options. Let's dig even deeper. Before I do though, any questions on anything so far? Good. I know Serena's going to ask, so why don't I just get it over with here? I'm dropping the doc in the chat. Don't you worry.
I'm sorry. Sorry I was late. I was just at an appointment and now I'm driving, so I'm just going to have my camera off.
You're all good. You're all good. Make
Thanks.
sure you pay attention to the road.
Yep.
Okay. So let's dig deeper into these three options, right? So we talked about the three potential options to improve this equation for yourself. Let's break them down into their parts. All right, so reducing cost of acquisition. All right, so the first thing you got to look at when it comes to cost of acquisition is it really a sales problem? All right, because your cost of acquisition is directly tied to how many clients you sell, right? Because when we look at this equation, there's only two things that affect this number. It's either how much we're spending on our marketing and we're not getting the result necessary, or it's the second number here, which we're not selling enough clients. Now that could really be two parts, right? Like I said, it could be a sales problem, which means we're not booking the leads that are coming in. Those leads are not showing up to their appointments, or we're not closing those leads. Or if the sales side is good, meaning you hit these KPIs, then it's a marketing problem. All right, so we got to identify which it is. Now, for identifying if it's a sales problem, these are the three KPIs that you should look at. All right, are you booking at least 10% of the leads that come through your ads for a call? All right, at least 10%. If you don't know how many leads are coming in for your ads, that's why we have a media buyer, right? So you can ask your media buyer, hey, how many leads have came in this month from our ads? And then you can just compare that number with how many calls you booked and see if it's 10%. All right, if it's 10%, you're doing good. All right, not the DM team's fault. right? They're doing good. All right, the next thing to look at is the show rate. All right, so is the show rate 60% bare minimum? Obviously, we want it over 60%, but if less than 60% of your show or the leads that are being booked are not showing, right, that's directly going to impact our cost of acquisition because we're not going to sell as many clients, and then that figure is going to be a lot higher. All right, this last one here is your close rate. All right, maybe they are showing, maybe you are getting them booked, but for whatever reason, your close rate is less than 30%. If that's the case, once again, that's negatively going to impact your cost of acquisition. All right, so wrapping this point up, is your cost of acquisition high, not because it's a marketing problem, but because it's actually a sales problem? And these are the 3 KPIs to look at to determine that. Okay, so let's say that we looked at those KPIs and we did in fact determine that it is not a sales problem, but our cost of acquisition is high. So we have determined that it is a marketing problem. All right, so really simple. And I'm going to try to make this like the simplest possible formula for you guys to create better ads. But the best place to test your ads is with your organic content. And you don't even need a lot of followers to do that, right? You could do this with quite literally 1,000 followers or less. All right, because everything is relative. Even if you have 1,000 followers, right, maybe 20 likes is a shit ton of likes for you because you typically get 5 likes, right? But your best organic content and your best organic resources are always going to be your best ads. And I think a lot of people who just get into ads make this mistake where they feel like, now that I'm running ads, I need to run different types of content than I do organically. Huge mistake. All right. Use your organic platforms as a testing platform to then figure out what's going to work to run your ads. All right. So what you could do today, really simple action item, go back through your past 90 days worth of posts and pick the 5 that outperformed. All right. So if you predominantly run reels, what's the metric? Views, right? If you don't want to look at views and you feel like engagement is more powerful, then let's look at likes. All right, let's keep it simple, views or likes. All right, so number 1, Mark, we've determined that marketing is an issue. What you're going to do, you're going to go back through your past 90 days worth of organic content. You're going to find the ones that outperformed, either using likes or views as the measure. All right, great. Now we're going to turn those into ads. All right, same thing is true with resources. I know every single person on the call, every single person in the program uses free resources as lead generation magnets. All right, you should have at this point 1 to 3 free resources that work for you very consistently. All right, if you did a free resource post in your Facebook group and your WhatsApp group, on your Instagram stories, right? Once again, that's a means that you could test to see what's going to get the best response. Another thing that you could do, and I think I have it in here somewhere, but I'll just say it now, is you could poll your current clients. All right, so this is sometimes something that I do in the 10K Accelerator program, is I'll go in their announcements chat and I'll put a poll inside of the announcements chat and I'll say, hey, what resource would you want? Right, and then I'll have them vote, right? And then I'll just say, well, fuck, all right, if these people are paying us money and they want to be clients and they say that this resource is the best one, why am I reinventing the wheel? I'm just going to take that information and use that as my ads. All right, second thing here, use client testimonials. Sorry, I'm trying to read what I wrote here. Okay, it looks like I didn't write that quite properly. But what I was trying to say is use client testimonials. And I know that's very hard to do in the fitness space because you can't do before and afters for ads, but have them record reviewing your product. All right, so have your clients do a product review. All right, and how they'll open it. And all you need to give them as the opener is saying, hey, I just did this program and here's my honest assessment. All right. And then the rest, give them free range to fill in whatever they want to say. Just try to keep it under 3 minutes. All right. Those perform really great as ads because you're still getting the client testimonial, right? It's from a third party. So it's not directly from you and it's their honest assessment of their program. All right. So when in doubt, use client testimonials. This is something that we're trying to lean a lot heavier into. And these typically are the ones that work. Our longest and best performing ad is actually Alex Brown. Alex Brown is now our coach manager, but she was one of our first clients ever. And we did an ad with her and that ad's been running for the past 3 years since 2020. And that's still one of our best performing ads to this day. Okay, next thing is if we've determined that marketing is an issue, are you nurturing your leads? Two simple nurturing methods. Do you have a group, and are you constantly funneling all your leads to the group? All right, what that would look like is if you're using ManyChat, does every single ManyChat flow ask them and invite them to your group? In addition to that, are you active in your group, right? Are you posting 5 to 7 times a week inside of your group? I know Jeremy Norman, he's got a pop-in WhatsApp group, but he's very attentive to it, and he drops prompts in there every single day, right? So 2 parts there with the group. One, is every single lead getting the opportunity to join the group via your ManyChat? And 2, are you being active, at least posting in there 5 to 7 times a week? All right, the second nurturing platform is your email. All right, so is every single person who comes through your lead funnel, are we capturing those emails and sending them to your email list? In addition to that, are you sending 3 emails a week, you or a member of your team? All right, next one here. Are you following up with your leads? All right. A lot of individuals who struggle with ads are just not following up with their leads enough. All right, we give you guys a really good process in 10K Accelerator. It's called the hot list and generalist process. It's the process that NLCA has used since the dawn of time, and we still use that process today. All right, so if you don't know that process, go back into 10K Accelerator and start implementing that with your team. But a lot of our marketing troubles are just the fact that we're not following up with our leads. All right, and the reason that's important is people who come through on your ads, they're seeing you for the first time. The percentage likelihood that they close in the first interaction is very small, and it should be. All right. Most people, it takes at least 3 to 6 months to build up enough trust of seeing your content to actually want to be your client. Most people are even beyond that, right? 3 to 6 months is like the minimum threshold to have enough trust to purchase. Most people are beyond 6 months. So the only way that we can expedite that is more points of contact and more points of individual contact, which happens through our follow-ups. All right, this last one I already said, but use your clients. Like when in doubt, if you're trying to come up with the right ad resources or ad content, use your clients, right? Poll them, ask them questions. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here, right? We don't have to take our best guess on what's going to work in our marketing. Instead, or just ask the people who have already paid you money, what would actually work? This ad or this ad, this resource or this resource, and use that information. All right, I'm going to pause there. So that was everything in terms of reducing cost of acquisition, if that was the challenge. We're going to get into increasing lifetime gross profit here, which I'm pumped for because a lot of this is new information. But let's go ahead and break this down. Does anybody have any questions on this specifically?
Yes, I did. It's probably a backtrack. I mean, that's just my life in a nutshell.
Okay, that was just perfect timing. I thought she was asking a question, but I think her mic just went off at the perfect time. Does anybody else have a question? Good. All right, let's keep rocking. All right, increasing lifetime gross profit. So like I said, this is where majority of people are going to fall. I believe you guys all have cost of acquisition that's within industry average. Once again, 300 to 1,000. So most of you will fall into this category here, which is how do we increase lifetime gross profit? All right, so like I said, a lot of this is going to be new information. This is stuff. The reason it's not in the course yet is because we're still testing it. However, and I just want to be upfront and transparent about that. This is something that we're still testing in our front end program, 10K Accelerator. However, I still want to give you guys the information because I know this has worked for other companies. All right. So number one, doing an upsell within the first 30 days. All right. Your people are going to be most apt to want to give you referrals and to want to continue to purchase within the first month. Why is that? Because that's when excitement is most high. All right. There's 2 points where excitement is most high. One, when they just join your program, and 2, if and when they get results. All right. Those are the points that you guys can capitalize on continued sales, whether that's referrals or having them buy something else that's within your program. All right. In the light of this upsell, though, we're going to talk about purchasing something in your first 30 days. All right. So what exactly is that something, right? That something needs to be something that complements your program. No brainer. Duh. The second part of that is something that helps them get more results. All right, helps them get more results by doing either one of these two things. All right, reducing the time to result or decreasing effort and sacrifice. So what exactly does that mean? Reducing the time to result, right, would be giving somebody an extra, service, for example, that will help them figure out this problem quicker so that they get this result faster. Right? Decreasing effort and sacrifice is usually taking things off their plate, right? So if they're a really busy individual, maybe it's an additional add-on service where you're purchasing their meal plans for them, or at least you're the individual who's going to the meal prep company, you're typing in exactly what they need, so they don't have to do that. And you still use their card and you press the button for them and boom, they have their meal prep at their door. Right? That's decreasing effort and sacrifice. It's buying back their time to make things easier and more convenient for them. All right, so those are the two different ways that we can improve results. We can either reduce the time it takes to get results by providing a higher or better service, or we could take things off their plate by making it more done for you. All right, so let's dig a little bit deeper. So inside of our course, the 10K Accelerator course and the client delivery module, there's a whole entire stream of videos about how to sell supplements to your clients. All right, this is one of many examples on things that you could do within the first 30 days to upsell. All right, but if you're an individual that believes in supplements, even if it's just protein powder, pre-workout, whatever it is, this is an option that you have, right? Majority of your clients, they're already purchasing supplements, right? They buy your program, they're excited, they go to GNC, they buy this supplement stack. Why then should they purchase from GNC when they could potentially purchase from you? Right? So that's an example of one thing that you could do to upsell them within the first 30 days. It's money that they're already spending. So why not at least do it through you and something that you trust as well? So that's an option. We talk about that inside of the client delivery module in 10K Accelerator. All right, let's go through some additional options. So maybe within your first 30 days, you've noticed that your clients also ask you for mindset coaching, or your clients also ask you for breathwork and meditation, right? Maybe within the first 30 days, what you do is you have them purchase a package of 5 to 10 meditation sessions or 5 to 10 mindset coaching sessions, right? Once again, this would only be relevant if this is something that they're already asking for. All right, other examples could be resources or PDFs, right? So it could be cookbooks, it could be recipe books. Other examples could be additional services, right? So maybe for their first 5 workouts, they purchase for you or one of your coaches to actually be there with them virtually, right? Maybe it's on FaceTime for the first 5 workouts, and they kind of coach them through virtually their first 5 workouts for form review or any additional aspects of the first 5 workouts that they need help with. But that's another potential option, right? Or another option would be a product, right? So we have additional service, but we also have products. So potentially you can create a course that guides them through, the 12 weeks of their program or the 16 weeks of their program. And inside of that course, you have journaling prompts, you have trackers, you have videos, you have guides that only they can access if they purchase this thing within the first 30 days. All right, so recap on stuff that you guys can sell within the first 30 days to increase lifetime gross profit. All right, so number 1, it could be product-based, which would look like supplements or a course or recipe books or cookbooks. Or 2, it could be service-based, which could look like mindset coaching, meditation, additional form reviews, or being there for their first 5 workouts, or potentially even purchasing for their first 5 grocery hauls, right? You guys can FaceTime and be there together at the same time. Obviously, you have your own creativity. These are just some thoughts. Okay, so how the heck do you actually sell this? All right, and then we'll wrap up here. So how you actually sell this would be on the initial onboarding call. All right, so on the initial onboarding call, there's really 2 things to make sure that you actually sell this consistently. All right, number 1, you say most clients who do X program also get X thing. All right, so most people who purchase the program that you just purchased, let's just call it your 3-month accelerator program, also get 10 meditation sessions. All right, most people want to do what most people do. So when you frame it in this way, that most people who buy the program that you just buy also tend to get this thing, right? They're already thinking like, well, shit, if they do it, I want to do it. All right. Now, the second really important part of the sales aspect here is the assume close. All right. So a lot of people will say, yeah, most people who buy this program get this thing. Do you want it too? And that's not the assume close. The assume close is assuming that they're going to say yes already. So we bypass asking that question and we just present them the two options. All right. So let's say that it's supplements. All right. So with supplements, I would say, great. Yeah. Most people who do our 3-month program also tend to get protein powder and pre-workout with the program as well. Do you want chocolate or vanilla? Right. So I'm already assuming that they're going to say yes. So I ask them, what do they want? Right. What's the A/B? It's a multiple choice question. All right. Another example, if you're doing it as a service and not a product, would be, yeah, most people who do our 3-month program, they also tend to get 5 or 10 meditation sessions. What do you want? Do you want 5 or 10 meditation sessions? All right. So assuming they say yes, and then giving them the options to close. Whew. All right. That was a mouthful. Any questions on increasing lifetime gross profit? Cool. Well, you guys are making it easy for me then. The other obvious ways to increase lifetime gross profit would be obviously improving your re-sign rate. So if your re-sign rate is not at least 30% month over month, then that's an area for you to improve. And then the last way to increase your lifetime gross profit would be your Ascension program. So we talk about that in the beginning of the course, but having a back-end Ascension program will always increase lifetime gross profit because you don't have to spend any more marketing dollars to get somebody to ascend, right? So I'll use NLCA just because it's a clean example. But when we get a student from 10K Accelerator to Master Coach, we don't have to spend any more cost of acquisition to get that person to do that. So the profit percentage is that much greater when you can get people into your back-end Ascension program. Like our cost of acquisition, it's actually really good. So in business coaching, it's anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000. Usually our cost of acquisition is $2,000. So we don't have to spend another $2,000 to get students who have already paid for us in 10K into Master Coach. So that's the power of an Ascension program. All right. Hopefully you guys found this valuable. I know you guys are quiet and have no questions. So that can either mean you fucking hated it or you found this really valuable. But nonetheless, hopefully it was valuable for you guys. I dropped the Google Doc in the chat. Perfect timing. We got 23 more minutes left. So we're just going to open it up to questions either on this or anything that you guys want to chat about. Who wants to go?
Chad, I have a question actually.
Yes.
I was listening to, I can't remember the what you recently dropped in the announcements. I think it was a podcast that you did with the guy from the supplement company.
Yeah, Ed Turney.
Yeah, so you were recommending partnering with that company, but what are your thoughts on something I've been looking into was doing, instead of partnering with a company, doing my own, I can't remember what they call it, if it's like white label or black label or something, but doing my own, that's like custom branded and all of that stuff. Why would you recommend partnering with that specific company versus doing it that way?
Yeah, I mean, just partnering, I'm just going to talk about partnering with a company in general. It doesn't have to be Prestige Labs. But in terms of like white labeling your own supplements, you're basically starting a whole new business at that point, right? Because then your attention is diverted. Now you have to focus on the product and the packaging and making sure everything's good on that front, which then takes away from your core thing, right? So the argument would be, spend all of your time and attention on making the best coaching program that you can. Partner with a company like Prestige Labs. Prestige Labs gives you 40% of the cut, which is very high. Industry average is about 10 to 20% in terms of like cut on the supplements. But you don't have to worry about anything else, right? You don't have to worry about customers complaining that their protein made them go to the bathroom 5,000 times or any other issues that would pop up with that.
Okay. What I had found sounded very similar to what he was describing, in that there was like all these blends already and you can kind of just select what you want, but it was already pretty much put together for you. My understanding, and I could be totally wrong, is that it was minimal work. So It just seemed to be like an easier way to make more money. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would just dig a little bit deeper. With the white labeling, there's probably additional fees because you have to pay for all their stuff, and then you got to pay to have your brand on the actual product as well. And then you just want to make sure that they're going to handle all the shipping. They're going to handle any customer issues and complaints, anything that would take your time, energy, and bandwidth away.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you're saying it's just easier to just partner with them instead of doing all that.
Yeah, because they run the business. At that point, you're just the poster child. You're just doing the marketing. That's all.
Cool. Thank you.
You got it. Who's next? Doesn't have to be about our subject today, by the way. It could be on any challenge you have.
I have a question.
Yeah, let's do it.
I got the email about the Black Friday call. I thought it was going to be on the 5th, but I haven't gotten any signups for it. Do you mind dropping the Calendly on here for us?
Yeah, I totally can.
Because that's on Thursday, right? The 5th?
Yes, ma'am. It is
Awesome.
Thursday at 5 o'clock. When you say signups, what do you mean? I just want to make sure that
Oh, so there's no sign up for it. It's not going to be a group call or anything like that?
Oh no, it is. I'm just trying to get clarity on the challenge that you're facing, just to make sure nobody else is facing the same challenge.
I just never got the Calendly sign up for it to go on there.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me grab it for you.
It was super helpful last year, and so I wanted to hop on that call again to this year.
You were on it last year?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Let's go. That's awesome. Yeah, I got a whole new presentation, whole new thought process. So it will not be the same as last year, which is cool.
Oh, perfect.
All right. I'm grabbing the link.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, link is in the chat. And then also, Tony, real quick for you, if you bring a friend and that friend signs up, you'll get $500. So easiest $500 of your life. Right before Black Friday and Christmas, you can turn around and spend that on your family.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, if you have any
Okay.
friends, bring them along.
Okay. And then I have another question. It's not really related to what we're talking about today, but I am having problems with looking for a DMer. I'm still on the search for one.
Yeah, 100%. Where have you looked so far?
So I've done my posting on my story. But I feel like I have to be super clear and be like, okay, this is for a hire, not to be a client. And so I reposted it again today. I've asked a couple of my clients about it. But so far, I've only had one application, which obviously I want more options. But that's the only two places I've asked my clients, and also I've posted it on my story on Instagram.
What the heck? Seems like there's all sorts of issues with this Calendly link.
I saw that. I saw what she posted. That's why I was like, I don't know if like where was the sign up or what, or maybe it's blocked already. Maybe you're full.
It's okay. I will chat with the team member who's responsible for this. All right. So to answer your question though, Tony, do you have any people that you could like text and do outreach to and see if they're interested?
I could try. Yep, I will do that.
Do you have any, does anybody come to mind in terms of like the type of person that you're looking for that's like
No,
in your network?
we'll see, just my client, and then that's it. And I know someone posted it on their on the group chat that one of their VMers friend is looking for a DM job, but I follow that person. It was just on request the whole time. And so I wasn't going to message her until she said yes to it, you know?
Right. Watch this. What you can do is you can leverage your clients and you can leverage your power base, like your friends and family. And I would put something out there that says like, hey, I'm looking for this role. If you know anybody that fits this criteria and they become our staff member, I will give you X dollars in return. You can define what you feel like is fair value. I'll just tell you what NLCA does. We do a $400 referral fee for any staff members that come on, but you could do like $200, $100, $250, like I said, whatever you feel comfortable with, but this will expand your network beyond what you can initially see right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, I will do that. And then I will post it on my my Facebook also, since I've only posted it on my Instagram. So I'll post it on my Facebook as well.
Yep, sounds like a good idea.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. All right, who wants to go next? Who's up? Who's up?
I have another question if nobody else wants to go.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is in regards to the Ascension program. I created it, and I've talked with Kayla about this too, but I've created an Ascension program like we did when we first started, right? But what I'm finding is that I don't know that my Ascension program makes sense because we have all these perks, right? That are like done for you services, this and that, and we're charging more, but we're doing it for clients who've already spent 6 to 12 months with us and really don't need all of those services because if they're pretty successful. So I feel like I don't have an Ascension program that makes sense. And I'm like stuck figuring out what does make sense.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. Talk me through your core offer, who it's for, the problem it solves. Talk me through that if you can.
So it's just mostly women, 30s, 40s, 50s, lifestyle clients want to lose weight, get healthy, 20 to 75 pounds.
Nice. And what's typically, so when they finish that initial term with you, what's typically the problem that remains at the end of that?
So I would say learning to maintain their weight for sure. However, the services that I'm offering in this Ascension program, they're like, they don't need me to count their macros for them. They don't need me to do grocery orders for them. It's all more like beginner stuff that they would have probably benefited from at first. So I don't know that me teaching them how to maintain their weight loss in this awesome, cool, double the price expensive way, it doesn't make I'm not converting anyone. It doesn't make sense, I feel.
Yeah, 100%. So with the Ascension program, it's less about what you're offering and more about the problem you're solving, right? So for your individual, let's say to qualify, within the 6 months or whatever your front end program is, they have to lose these 30 to 75 pounds, because what that will do is it creates the next problem that they logically need to solve. So I'm just going to make this up as a hypothetical, but for most people, when they're losing weight for the first time, in order to keep it off, they now need to build muscle so that they have a higher BMR, right? So maybe your backend program is about solving that problem. Hey, we spent the first 4 to 6 months helping you lose weight. Now, if we really want to sustain this, we really got to start building muscle so that we can raise your BMR. That's what you're selling. You're not necessarily selling all the extra fancy done for you things and all that. You're just selling the next logical step that they need to solve. Now, the way that you can make this priced higher, so to speak, is just making it longer term, right? So the only option for that program might be a year, because truly for the client result, it probably will take at least a year for them to achieve the level of whatever it is that they need in order to sustain this.
Okay. I'm still thinking that if I were to, for example, run with what you suggested, they're already lifting weights throughout the first program and they're already building muscle. So what's different?
Right, but when they're losing weight, they can't build muscle at the same clip as if that was the sole focus, right? Just based on like being in a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
So, like that's the selling point, right? Like a part of this is like educating them. So like you could say like, hey, for the first 6 months, we're putting you in a calorie deficit because your brand's spanking new. You might also build some muscle. That's very normal, right? But in this second program, after you've lost the weight, because that's the main focus, we're really going to start packing on some muscle because that's how we're going to sustain this weight loss. All right. So a part of it is just like painting the vision of how you're going to get them to this sustainable place in their life that nobody has ever gotten them to before with these two offers.
All right. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT some questions and see what I can come up with.
Okay. Was that helpful though? Just like
Yeah.
seeing, okay. Biggest thing to take away is you're just solving a bigger, different problem. And that's why people would want to pay again and pay more, because no other fitness program has solved that problem of sustainability for them before.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You got it. All right, who's that?
I have a question if nobody else does.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hi. So if Jenna's on here, so she knows I'm dealing with this, but I am creating an entire new Facebook group. No, I'm creating an entire new Facebook account because none of my DMers can get into my organic Facebook. It's been this whole thing. I've talked with Facebook a few times and they're still working on it. So I'm creating a whole new Facebook page and I'm creating a new Facebook group attached to that page as well, just to get better, like more ideal clients in ours. We have about like 4,000 or 5,000 like members in our free group, but honestly, we don't get anything from that. We get a lot of engagement, but it's all very like either really beginner, people who have no money. It's just, it's rough. So I guess my question is more so like, I know you've made a lot of different accounts like Facebook and Instagram, just any tips? Cause it feels really overwhelming. Like I don't get like overwhelmed, but I'm like, I have no content on this. I have literally nothing. And I've had years and years of content on my other one. So I'm just a little like, I don't know. I feel like I would like some tips if you have any.
Yeah, 100%. So are you talking about you're starting a new Facebook group or a new Facebook page?
Both.
Okay. And you said that you previously posted a lot on the Facebook page.
The Facebook of like my personal Facebook page. Yes.
Oh, okay. So we're not talking about it like a business page.
Correct. No, not a business page, just a normal regular page.
Yeah. And the overwhelm is coming around not having enough content on there to seem legit. Is that fair?
Correct. Yeah. That and just, yeah, I guess that's the most important thing for me. And then of course I just don't have anybody and currently just adding people, making sure I don't want to add the wrong people either, because my Facebook page is like, has some interesting people on there from the years.
Who are we concerned about them perceiving you as a newbie?
I don't think, well, right now, because this new Facebook group is going to be for more like advanced, like athletes / coaches. And so I guess that's a concern of mine. And I don't want to have like nothing on there, but we are going to be cherry picking members from our other group to go into this group as well.
Got it. Okay, cool. So we are concerned. I'm just trying to see there's two problems. We're concerned about the brand new profile and we're concerned about the brand new group. Is that right?
Correct. Both. Yes.
Okay. Why don't you have a member of your team go into the old group and take the content and then just start dispersing it there like one a day, right?
Okay.
And then from like 100 days from now, you should have pretty much the same amount of content in there. Obviously not to the same degree, but at least enough in there to feel good about it. And then maybe you have an announcement that just says like, hey, this was our old group. However, this is our new group. This is why we decided to create a new group. Boom, boom, boom. And you can just pin that to the top. So like people can see that there was proof of concept. Okay. You can also put at the top, if you want to put a bunch of testimonials, how many clients you've worked with, you know, those are all things to like build trust, where anybody who would have a question about, you know, is this legit or not, you know, those problems could be solved just by looking at the pinned post at the top.
Yeah, a lot of people who I'm requesting are like, hey, is this you? Like, did somebody make this? I'm like, no, it's me. So it just seems like a lot, but having somebody to help me, I think is.
Yep. Yeah, you need somebody to help you.
Okay.
You shouldn't be setting up any of the technical stuff. I would just have a VA do that, or your ops man. What was I going to say? Yeah. All right. So if you're in any other groups that people would like see this new page, you can also post about it. I'll just use NLCA as an example because I know you work with some NLCA peeps, but like posting an NLCA saying, hey guys, I created this new Facebook page. If you see a friend request come from me, yes, it is me. So if you have any comparable groups like that, I would just make it known that you're doing this.
like posting in those groups?
Yeah, anywhere that you potentially could be getting, like sending friend requests, like just letting people know that this is like a new account that you're creating.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think the big thing is pinning posts that build trust in the group, and then also stating why you created this new group as well.
Correct. Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then offloading a lot of the technical shit, because that seems to be the overwhelming portion, right?
Yes, and the content, just like I'm like, there's no content, and so my Instagram goes to my personal the Facebook I already have. So, yeah,
Relink it to this new one, and
Okay.
then have somebody on your team take content from your old group, just one a day, and put it in your new group. Maybe do a shit ton in the beginning, and then like more than one in like one day, and then from there they can just transfer one a day for a period of time.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Thanks. That's helpful.
Of course. All right, probably got time for one or two more. Who's next?
I'll go.
Yeah.
So I have a sales call scheduled and somebody filled out the form saying that they're not 100% committed. They answered it 2 different ways, but basically they're not 100% committed to changing their life or getting started. They just want to see what my program has. How do you guys approach that?
Yeah, I would basically say, hey, totally get that you're not committed. And I'm totally open to getting on a call to showing you what we have. Let me ask you this though, if by the time that call is over, you feel without doubt that this program is 100% the thing that you need to solve XYZ challenge or problem, are you open to having a discussion, to figuring out a payment plan that's fair for you, but also fair for us? And if they say yes, now you have their buy-in that yes, we're going to the call with the intention of just going over the program, but if this thing's perfect, at least they are open to having that dialogue at the end.
Okay, because it was through the form, right? So I'll just reach out separately.
Yep.
Okay.
Reach out, hey, saw your form, saw this, I just want to ask this clarifying question, say the thing, and then get their buy-in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I was just in my head. I've, heard in the past and been talking to my coaches and stuff that if somebody's really not committed to being a part of the program, it's just a different game plan.
Yeah. Here's the thing though, because I've had enough of these calls where I've seen that on the form. They're just saying that because they don't want to be beholden to anything. Because how they're thinking is, well, if I say yes, that I'm committed, they're going to use that as leverage for me on the call. What we do know is clearly this person has an interest, or else they wouldn't have filled out the form. And clearly they have a problem that they're looking to be solved. They are just a nervous individual and they don't want to be tied down to anything. So we just need to break down those barriers. That's all.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, you got it. All right, with that, I got time for one more. If anybody wants it. Going once. Going twice. Thumbs up if you're good. Sweet. Did everybody get the Google link in the chat as well from today's talk? Awesome. Cool. All right. I'll see you guys on WhatsApp. Peace out.